I've never taken 50 Cent seriously. We've never even been in the same league.
Alright, explain to me, why every time 50 Cent drops anything remotely close to a documentary, the entire industry starts shaking like somebody just pulled the fire alarm in a crowded club. Because what just happened between Jay-Z and T.I.? Oh, this is not normal rap drama. This feels like a corporate boardroom meeting turned into a street fight with WI-Fi because 1 minute, people are casually watching 50's latest doc like, okay, cool. Some behind-the-scenes stories, and the next minute, boom, names start getting mentioned, narratives start forming, and suddenly it's not just entertainment anymore. It's exposure, and when Jay-Z's name got pulled into that conversation, yeah, you already knew it wasn't going to stay quiet. Now, here's where things get real interesting, because Jay-Z is not the type to jump online and argue and comment sections. He moves differently, strategic, calculated, silent, until he's not. So when people started saying he fired back at T.I., the internet didn't just react. It panicked, because if Jay is speaking, even indirectly, you already know there's layers behind it. And T.I.? Oh, he's not exactly known for staying quiet either. This is the same man who will give you a full TED talk mid-argument, using words you gotta Google halfway through the sentence. So now you've got two heavyweight voices, both with influence, both with history, and now both tied into a narrative that started with 50 Cent stirring the pot like he always does, and the internet? Oh, it's eating this up like it's the season finale of a show nobody wants to end because now people are asking. Now, to really understand why the situation got everybody talking, you gotta rewind to the moment 50 Cent decided to drop that documentary, because let's be honest, this man does not release anything without knowing it's going to shake the table. He doesn't just tell stories, he plants seeds, and those seeds, oh, they always grow into chaos. At first, people thought it was just another one of his usual moves, some behind-the-scenes insight, a few controversial takes, maybe a couple of industry callouts here and there. Nothing new, right? But then, names started getting mentioned. Not random names either, we're talking about people with real influence, real history, and real connections that go way deeper than what the public usually sees, and that's when things started getting interesting, because somewhere in that documentary, the narrative started shifting. It wasn't just storytelling anymore, it felt like a setup. Like pieces were being placed on a board, slowly but intentionally. And when T.I.'s name got pulled into the conversation, people immediately perked up. Now let's be clear. T.I. is not new to controversy. This is someone who has been in the spotlight long enough to know how the game works. He's had his fair share of public moments, debates, and situations where his name was trending for all kinds of reasons. But this felt different. Because it wasn't coming from a random blog or a social media rumor, it was coming from a 50 Cent project. And that automatically raises the stakes. Because when 50 says something, people don't just ignore it. They listen, they analyze, they debate, and most importantly, they react. And the reaction to this? Oh, it started building fast. Clips from the documentary started circulating everywhere. Short snippets, quotes, interpretations, people were breaking it down like it was a hidden message. Some said it was direct, others said it was subtle, but either way, one thing was clear. T.I.'s name being in that conversation was not accidental, and then came the reactions. At first, it was just fans talking, speculating, debating, trying to piece together what it all meant. Some were defending T.I., saying people were reading too much into it. Others were saying there had to be truth behind it, because 50 doesn't just throw things out there for no reason. But then, things escalated. Because once Jay-Z's name started getting connected to the situation, everything changed, and this is where the tension really started building. Because Jay-Z is not someone who gets pulled into drama lightly. He doesn't move off impulse, he doesn't react emotionally. And he definitely doesn't jump into situations unless there's something deeper going on. So the moment people started saying he responded or fired back, the entire narrative shifted. Now it wasn't just about T.I. anymore. It became bigger. More layered, more complicated. Because now you've got three major figures connected. In one storyline, 50 Cent stirring the pot, T.I. caught in the middle, and Jay-Z stepping in with that quiet but powerful presence that always makes people nervous. And the internet? Oh, it locked in. People started going back, digging into history, pulling up old interviews, past collaborations, moments where these names crossed paths before. Suddenly, things that didn't seem important back then started looking very important now, because in situations like this, nothing is ever random, and that's when the theories started. Some people believed 50 was intentionally creating tension, knowing exactly how this would play out. Others thought Tia was being put in a position he didn't ask for, dragged into. Something bigger than him. And then there were those who believed Jay-Z stepping in meant there was something behind the scenes that the public wasn't fully aware of yet. And honestly, that last theory, that's the one that had people the most nervous, because if Jay-Z is involved, there's always more to the story, and the more people talked about it, the more the tension grew up, because now it wasn't just about what was. Said in the documentary, it was about what it meant, what it hinted at, what it might be leading to next. And here's the thing that made everything feel even more intense. Nobody was giving a clear answer. No full explanation, no detailed breakdown, no, this is exactly what happened. Just pieces. Statements, reactions, subtle responses that left room for interpretation. And when you give the internet room to interpret something, and just like that, the moment those documentary clips started circulating, the situation didn't just grow, it exploded, because now it wasn't just industry chatter anymore. It became a full-blown spectacle, with the internet acting like front-row spectators at a heavyweight boxing match nobody even realized was scheduled. And you already know how this goes. The internet doesn't just react and investigates. TikTok turned into a full detective agency overnight, with creators breaking down every second of the documentary like they were uncovering hidden codes. YouTube channels dropped deep dive videos analyzing tone, wording, and timing like it was a conspiracy theory. And Twitter? Oh, Twitter was a battlefield of opinions, with people tweeting like they were part of the situation themselves. And right in the center of all this chaos, the sides formed instantly. You had one group defending T.I., saying he got pulled into something he didn't ask for. They argued that 50 Cent was doing what he always does, stirring the pot, creating narratives, and letting the internet do the rest. To them, T.I. was just the latest target in a long line of calculated chaos. But then you had the other side, saying, nah, there's no smoke without fire. They believed that if T.I.'s name was being mentioned in that kind of context, there had to be a reason. And the fact that Jay-Z's name got connected to it? Oh, that made everything feel 10 times more serious. Because now it wasn't just about what was said, it was about what it implied. And just like that, the internet turned this into a digital war zone. Comment sections were packed with debates. Livestream chats were chaotic, and people were pulling up old clips, past interviews, and forgotten moments like they were building a case. It wasn't just discussion anymore. It was full-on analysis, with everyone trying to prove they had the real version of the story. But then, the memes hit, and that's when things went from intense to completely out of control. Because, while some people were taking this seriously, others turned it into viral entertainment. Edits with dramatic music, captions like 50 did it again, reactions comparing it to WWE rivalries or Marvel storylines where every character has a hidden agenda. And honestly, that made it spread even faster, because nothing moves quicker than drama mixed with humor, and the comparisons? Absolutely wild. People were saying this felt like a mix between a corporate power struggle and a street-level feud, like a boardroom meeting gone wrong and broadcasted to the world. Others said it was giving Rap Avengers Civil War, with others said it was giving Raven Depp Avengers Civil War. Alliances forming, sides being chosen, and nobody fully trusting anyone. But here's where things took a sharp turn. Contradictions started showing up, because once people started digging deeper, they began noticing things that didn't quite line up. Old statements resurfaced, past interviews got reanalyzed, and suddenly people were saying, wait, didn't this situation look different before? And just like that, doubt entered the conversation. Now it wasn't just about who was right or wrong, it became about what actually made sense. People started piecing together timelines, comparing reactions, analyzing body language like they were experts. Some of it was definitely a stretch, but some of it made people pause. In an internet culture, that pause changes everything. Because once people start questioning things, the narrative becomes unstable. It shifts, it evolves, it turns into something way more complicated than it started as. And with this situation, that complexity just kept growing. Meanwhile, the emotional energy, through the roof, because even though people were joking, making memes, and turning it into content, you could feel that this wasn't just entertainment. There was real tension behind every reaction, real pressure behind every statement. This wasn't just about what was said, it felt like there were deeper issues bubbling under the surface. And then came the outsiders. Influencers, bloggers, industry voices, everybody wanted a piece of the conversation. Some tried to stay neutral, saying things like, "Let's wait for facts." Others jumped in immediately, picking sides and throwing opinions out like gasoline on a fire. And of course, some just wanted attention, using the situation to go viral while it was trending. But the most unpredictable part? Public opinion kept switching. One moment, people were fully backing T.I., saying he was being dragged unfairly. Then a new clip would surface or a different perspective would be shared, and suddenly the energy would shift. Then Jay-Z's name would come back into the conversation. And boom, everything would flip again. It was like watching a pendulum swing back and forth, with no clear ending in sight. And in the middle of all this noise, the truth started getting lost, because when too many voices are talking at once, clarity disappears. Facts mix with opinions, assumptions mix with emotions, and before you know it, nobody even knows what's real anymore. They're just reacting to whatever sounds the loudest. And right now, everything is loud. But here's the part that really had people on edge. The realization that this wasn't slowing down anytime soon, because none of the key players had fully stepped back. The conversation was still active, still evolving, still feeding the internet's obsession with every new detail. And as long as that kept happening, the story was going to keep growing. And just when everybody thought the situation had reached its peak, the energy shifted in a way nobody expected. Not louder, not messier, but heavier. Like the kind of tension that makes you stop scrolling and actually think for a second. Because somewhere between all the reactions, memes, and debates, reality finally started breaking through the noise. And suddenly, this didn't feel like entertainment anymore. It felt real, because this wasn't just about headlines or viral clips. This involved real people with real reputations on the line. And when names like Jay-Z, T.I., and 50 Cent are all connected in one narrative, you already know the stakes are high. This isn't just drama. This is influence, power, and legacy all colliding at once. And that's when the silence started hitting different. Because after all the chaos, there were moments where nobody said anything. No new statements, no posts, no reactions, just quiet. And that quiet, it made people even more curious. Because when things go silent after being loud for so long, it usually means something is happening behind the scenes. Something we're not seeing yet, and that's what had the internet on edge, because people started asking, are conversations happening privately? Are things being handled away from the public eye? Or is this just the calm before another explosion? And with situations like this, that uncertainty makes everything feel even more intense, because let's be real. When heavy names move in silence, it's never random. Behind the scenes, the pressure had to be building. Not just for T.I., but for everyone connected to this situation. Because once your name gets pulled into a narrative like this, it doesn't just disappear. It sticks. It gets talked about, analyzed, and attached to your image whether you respond or not. And for T.I., this moment felt like a crossroads. Because now it's not just about responding or staying quiet. It's about how he wants to be seen moving forward. Does he address everything directly? Does he ignore it and let it fade? Or does he take a more strategic approach, letting the noise pass while he moves behind the scenes? Every option comes with consequences. But then there's Jay-Z. And this is where things get even more interesting, because Jay doesn't operate like everybody else. He doesn't jump into chaos for attention, and he definitely doesn't react without purpose. So the idea that he fired back, even subtly, had people thinking there's something deeper going on. That hasn't been fully revealed yet, and that's what keeps this situation alive, because when someone like Jay-Z moves, even slightly, people start looking for meaning in every detail. Every word, every timing, every connection gets analyzed like it's part of a bigger strategy. And whether that's true or not, the perception alone is enough to keep the conversation going. Meanwhile, 50 Cent? He's watching it all unfold, like a master strategist. Because let's not forget, this all started with his documentary. And whether he intended for things to go this far or not, one thing is clear. He knows exactly how to get people talking. He knows how to drop information. in a way that creates reactions, builds narratives, and keeps the spotlight exactly where he wants it. And now? The spotlight is everywhere, but here's where things take a deeper turn. Because after all the debates and reactions, people started stepping back and looking at the bigger picture. Not just who said what, but what this situation actually means. Long term. Because moments like this don't just disappear, they leave an impact. Reputations get questioned, narratives get reshaped, and relationships? They don't always recover the same way, because once something becomes public, especially at this level, it changes how people see you. And even if things get resolved privately, the public perception doesn't just reset overnight. It lingers, it evolves, and it becomes part of your story moving forward. And that's the part nobody can control. But here's the twist that has everybody watching closely. The possibility that this isn't even the full story yet, because if history has taught us anything, it's that the biggest revelations don't come first. They come later, when the noise dies down just enough for something new to surface. When someone decides to speak, or when information comes out that flips everything upside down. Now listen, if this whole situation didn't have you sitting, they're like, nah, this just turned into something way bigger than expected, then I honestly don't know what will. Because this wasn't just drama, this was power moves, tension, and layers on layers of unanswered questions. And the craziest part? We still don't have the full picture. So I need you to tap in right now and tell me what you really think. Was this all just 50 Cent stirring the pot like he always does? Or do you think there's something deeper behind why these names got pulled into the conversation? Are you siding with T.I. thinking he got dragged into something unfair? Or do you believe Jay-Z stepping in means there's more going on behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't hold back, because I already know. The theories are about to be wild. This is one of those situations where everybody's got a take. Everybody's got to break down, and honestly, I want to hear all of it. The smart takes, the messy takes, the this don't add up takes, bring everything. And don't forget, smash that like button like it owes you money, because you already know we're staying on top of every update, every twist, and every new piece of drama that drops next. Subscribe right now if you're not already locked in, because trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming, because if there's one thing we've learned from all this, it's that the story is never really over, it just levels up. Stay tuned, stay ready, and stay locked in with Fame Blueprint.